Most of that isn't oh, Islam is false because of this. It's, hey, all you people out there keep saying this has nothing to do with Islam, and I'm showing you where it definitely has something to do with Islam. These are Islamic teachings. And so, as Robert pointed out, a big part of what he's done is just, guys, this stuff that everyone says has nothing to do with Islam. I can show you this stuff in the Muslim sources. And the main point is, stop saying that jihad has nothing to do with Islam. Stop saying that killing apostates has nothing to do with Islam. Stop saying that.
Okay, so I just want to focus on what David Wood is saying. He's saying, well, like Daniel Hikichu and Robert Spencer were debating, and I think I didn't see the whole debate or discussion or whatever with Robert Spencer, but I think the gist of it was, well, jihad and, killing apostates has nothing to do with Islam. This has to do with more cultural issues rather than the religion. And David Woodson saying no, this goes back to Islam. Well, what is the historical context behind jihad? What is the historical context behind killing apostates? Let's just focus on those two. Oh, that he also brings up wife beating, but if you read that verse, the Quran chapter 4, verse 34, it says, there's two steps before beating, and the beating has to be done lightly. You can't injure the woman, and beating is done in a very light and respectful way, according to the commentators like Ibn Kathir on Quran chapter 4, verse 34. So Islam doesn't really promote wife beating. It's just an extreme measure if the wife is doing something too extreme. But anyways, but look at the hypocrisy here of David Wood. There's wife beating, there's spousal abuse in America, right? Does that have to do with Christianity? Because America's mostly secular, but most of Americans are Christian. So does that have to do with Christianity? You see his hypocrisy, you see his inconsistency. But anyways, going back to jihad and killing apostates, let's just touch on those two real quick. Jihad simply means struggle. It does not mean war against non-believers or war against disbelievers. Jihad simply means struggle. And he doesn't know the historical context of jihad in Islam, because jihad in Islam is self-defensive and not offensive. If you read the Quran chapter 2 verse 190, it says, fight those who fight you, but don't transgress the limits. Don't transgress the limits means don't fight innocent disbelievers or innocent non-Muslims. Same thing with the Quran, chapter 60, verse 8. You can live peacefully with peaceful disbelievers. So the jihad is self-defensive and not offensive, according to Islamic theology. So even if you want to blame the religion for jihad, etc., what is the historical context behind jihad? What is the historical context behind, killing apostates? So let's just go to killing apostates real quick. If you read, if you read those hadith in historical context, the hadith about killing apostates is only when the apostates are being violent or fighting against Muslims. So it's a defensive action to kill apostates. It is not It is not an offensive measure. Let's say, I don't know, my younger brother believes Islam, right? Do I have the right to kill him in America or in Europe? No, I don't, because he peacefully left Islam. He's not taking an AK-47 and killing Muslims. The only way killing apostates is applicable is if the apostate Muslim is trying to harm or kill Muslims. That's the only, like, there's a teaching in all religions that says it's okay to take a life if that life if taking that life is to save an innocent life. It's in the Bible, it's in the Quran, etc., etc. So that's the historical context of killing apostates. If you read the Quran, nowhere does it say kill apostates for simply leaving Islam. That's between God and the apostate, right? So the Quran does not allow killing innocent apostates. The historical, yes, the hadiths say kill apostates. That's true, I'm not denying that. But what is the historical context behind killing apostates? The historical context is when those people leave Islam, they were fighting, or they were using violent. They were fighting against the Muslims. They were violently trying to kill Muslims. So so it's a self-defensive measure and not an offensive measure to kill apostates. So again, it's a big topic to talking about killing apostates, etc., etc. But when I looked at the historical context of those hadith that say kill apostates, it was because those apostates were fighting against the Muslims. The famous case of this was Abdullah ibn Abi Sar, who left Islam and started fighting against the Muslims. So that's why the Prophet Muhammad wanted him killed initially, but Uthman ibn Affan said, no, don't kill him. And the Prophet Muhammad forgave him. So because this Abdullah ibn Abi Sar was defenseless and he wasn't fighting the Muslims at the conquest of Mecca, and he was basically harmless. So that's why the Prophet Muhammad forgave him and let him go. So if killing apostates was so necessary, the Prophet Muhammad would have ordered Abdullah bin Asar to be killed right then and there, despite his harmlessness. But the Prophet Muhammad let him go because he wasn't posing a threat to the Muslim community. Same thing, like any Muslim can leave Islam, and there'll be no consequences because according to Islam, well, according to modern times, they're not fighting against the Muslims. They're just living their life peacefully. Well, the modern context of, or that's the context of apostasy in modern times. The context of apostasy 1400 years ago they were leaving Islam and fighting the Muslims. So that's why they should be killed according to Islamic law. It has nothing to do with if you leave Islam, you leave Islam. I mean, nothing's gonna, no one should fight you or no one should compel you to stay a Muslim because that's going against the Quran. But anyways, you get my point here that David Wood is just over dramatizing everything. Same thing with Robert Spencer. They're not reading the historical context behind the what the Quran is really saying about, or what the Islamic law is really saying about apostasy, etc., etc., or what the consequences of apostasy are when they are to be applied. So hopefully this clarifies the apostasy issue that Wood and Spencer get so excited about, but don't realize the historical context behind killing apostates according to Islamic theology. Stay tuned, more videos coming up ahead.